The Whispering Map Chapter 1. The morning the map appeared tucked inside Maya's worn copy of The Secret Garden, the world outside her bedroom window was painted in the soft colors of dawn. Pink and orange streaks stretched across the sky like watercolor brushed by an invisible hand. Maya rubbed sleep from her eyes, her fingers catching on the small, folded piece of paper that hadn't been there when she'd fallen asleep reading the night before. She carefully unfolded it. Paper was thick and creamy, with edges that had yellowed with time. Instead of roads and landmarks, the map showed a winding path through what looked like a forest, with tiny symbols dotted along the way: a bird with wings outstretched, a tree with roots that reached deep into the earth, a small pool reflecting stars, and at the center, a heart made of interwoven branches. Beneath the map, in elegant script that seemed to shimmer on the page, were the words, "The path that matters most can't be seen with eyes alone. Listen with your heart and the way will become clear." Maya traced the path with her fingertip, feeling a strange warmth spread through her. She'd recently moved to a new town, and the hallways of Northwood Middle School still felt like a maze where everyone else knew the secret passages but her. The map seemed to pulse gently in her hands, as if it were alive. She tucked the map safely into her backpack, next to her lunchbox and the 3 pencils she'd sharpened that morning. As she walked to school, autumn leaves crunched under her boots like tiny applause, and the air smelled of wood smoke and possibility. Chapter 2. Northwood Middle School hummed with morning energy like a beehive waking up. Maya kept her head down as she navigated the crowded hallways, her backpack feeling heavier with each step. She found her locker and worked the combination, right, left, right, feeling like she was solving a puzzle each time. "Hey, new girl," a voice called out. Maya turned to see Riley leaning against the locker next to hers, flipping a water bottle between her hands with practiced ease. Riley was everything Maya wasn't: confident, popular, with a cascade of dark curls that seemed to have a life of their own. "Hi," Maya managed, fumbling with her lock. "You're in Mr. Harrison's English class, right?" Riley asked, not waiting for an answer. "We're doing group projects today. You should join my group. We always get A's." Maya felt a flutter of hope. "Really?" "Sure," Riley said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "We need someone to do the research part. You seem like you'd be good at that." Before Maya could respond, Riley was already walking away, her laughter trailing behind her like confetti. Maya leaned her forehead against the cool metal of her locker. The invitation felt less like an opportunity and more like being assigned a chore. She reached into her backpack and touched the map. It seemed to warm beneath her fingers, and she remembered the words, "Listen with your heart." What was Riley's heart saying beneath the confident exterior? Chapter 3. In English class, Mr. Harrison clapped his hands together like a conductor starting a symphony. "Today we begin our heritage projects. Each group will research and present on a cultural tradition. You'll have 3 weeks to prepare." The classroom buzzed with excitement as students formed groups. Maya looked around nervously until Riley waved her over to a table where 2 other students were already seated. "This is Maya," Riley announced. "She's doing the research." Liam, who was sketching in a notebook filled with intricate dragons, looked up and gave Maya a small smile. Cool. I'm handling the visual presentation. And I'll do the speaking part, said Sophia, who was already organizing colored pens into a perfect rainbow. I won first place in the debate tournament last year. Maya nodded, feeling like the last piece added to a puzzle that was already complete. What tradition should we research? Something easy, Riley said, checking her phone. My mom has those paper lanterns from the store. We can do Chinese New Year. But that's not really our heritage, Liam said quietly. Riley shrugged. Who cares? It looks good. Maya thought of the map in her backpack, of the winding path that seemed to call for something more authentic. What if we each researched something from our own backgrounds, she suggested. Then we could compare traditions. Riley rolled her eyes. That's too complicated. Let's just do the lanterns. The bell rang and the group dispersed without another word to Maya. She gathered her books slowly, feeling the weight of being an outsider. As she walked to her next class, she noticed Liam sitting alone on a bench, his sketchbook open to a page filled with maps of imaginary worlds. Your drawings are amazing, Maya said, pausing beside him. Liam jumped, quickly closing the book. Thanks. They're just doodles. They look like more than doodles, Maya said. Like you've created whole worlds. A small smile touched Liam's lips. My grandma says I have ink in my blood instead of water. She's an artist too. The map in Maya's backpack seemed to pulse again, and she remembered the symbol of the tree with deep roots. What if our project was about how art connects generations? We could include your drawings and stories from your grandmother. Liam's eyes lit up. That would be incredible, but Riley would never go for it. Maybe we could talk to her, Maya suggested. Together, Liam hesitated, then nodded slowly. Okay. But after school, I have to help my grandma with her garden today. As they walked to class, Maya felt something shift inside her, like a door opening to let in light. The map wasn't just showing her a path, it was helping her find the courage to walk it. Chapter 4. The school garden was a hidden treasure tucked behind the science building, a riot of colors and scents that seemed to exist in its own world. Maya found Liam there after school, kneeling in the dirt beside an elderly woman with silver hair pulled into a neat bun and hands that looked like they knew the secrets of the earth. Grandma, this is Maya, Liam said. She's in my English class. The woman looked up, her eyes crinkling at the corners like well-loved paper. It's lovely to meet you, dear. I'm Mrs. Chin. Liam tells me you have an idea for your heritage project. Maya explained the concept and Mrs. Chen's face lit up. What a wonderful idea! Art is the language that connects all generations. It's how we tell our stories when words aren't enough. She led them to a small shed filled with art supplies, paints in every color of the rainbow, brushes worn smooth with use, canvases stacked like treasures. In the corner sat an old wooden box filled with photographs. "These are my parents, Mrs. Chen said, pulling out a black and white photo of a serious-looking couple standing before a landscape of mountains. They were artists in China before they came here. This painting," she gestured to a delicate watercolor of cherry blossoms hanging on the wall, "was my mother's. She taught me that every brushstroke carries your ancestors' hands." Maya traced the cherry blossoms with her eyes, seeing how each petal seemed to hold a story. The map in her backpack felt warm again, as if responding to the connection between past and present. "Could we include this in our project?" Liam asked, his voice filled with hope. Mrs. Chen smiled. "I would be honored. And I have something else that might help." She reached into the wooden box and pulled out a small, carved bird. "This was my father's. He carved it when he first arrived in this country to remind himself of the birds he left behind." Sometimes the most important traditions are the ones we create ourselves. As Maya held the wooden bird, she felt its smooth surface and noticed how it seemed to fit perfectly in her palm. The map's symbol of the bird with outstretched wings suddenly made sense. It wasn't just about flying, but about carrying what matters with you, no matter where you go. Chapter 5. The next morning, Maya found Riley standing by her locker, surrounded by a group of friends who laughed at everything she said. Maya took a deep breath, remembering the wooden bird and how it felt to hold something with such history. "Riley, can I talk to you for a minute?" Maya asked, her voice barely audible over the chatter. Riley turned, her expression unreadable. "Make it quick. I have to get to math." Maya explained the new project idea, about how each of them could contribute something from their own heritage. "Liam's grandmother has all these amazing artworks and stories. We could make something really special." Riley's friends snickered and Riley's jaw tightened. "Look, Maya, I appreciate the effort, but we don't have time for this touchy-feely stuff. The lantern project is simple. It'll get us an A. That's what matters." "But don't you want to make something that means something?" Maya asked, surprising herself with her boldness. Riley's face softened for a moment, revealing a flicker of something vulnerable beneath the confident exterior. "What matters is getting through middle school without everyone thinking I'm weird. My sister was the creative one. She painted murals and wrote poetry, and everyone thought she was special. Then she went away to art school, and my parents look at me like I'm a disappointment. I just want to be good at something normal." The words hung in the air between them, and Maya suddenly understood the symbol of the pool reflecting stars from the map. Sometimes you need to look beneath the surface to see what's hidden there. "Art is normal," Maya said softly. "And so is wanting your parents to be proud of you." But maybe there's a way to do both? To make something that means something and still get an A. Riley looked away, but not before Maya saw the shine of unshed tears in her eyes. "I'll think about it," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "But no promises." As Riley walked away, Maya touched the map in her backpack. It seemed to glow with a gentle light, and she knew that sometimes the most important journeys begin with a single step of understanding. Chapter 6. At lunchtime, Maya sat alone at a table in the corner of the cafeteria, watching the swirl of students around her. The noise was overwhelming, laughter bouncing off the walls, chairs scraping against the floor, the clatter of trays. She thought about the map's instruction to listen with your heart and closed her eyes for a moment, trying to hear beneath the surface. When she opened them, Sophia was standing beside her, holding a tray with a meticulously arranged salad. "Is this seat taken?" Sophia asked, her usual precision softened by something Maya couldn't quite read. Maya shook her head and Sophia sat down, arranging her napkin and silverware with exact movements. "I heard you talk to Riley about changing the project," Sophia said, not meeting Maya's eyes. "I think it's a good idea." Maya was surprised. "You do?" Sophia nodded, her fingers tracing the edge of her tray. "My family comes from Korea, and my grandmother teaches traditional Korean dance. I've been learning since I was little, but I never tell anyone at school. It feels private. Like if I share it, people will think it's weird." Maya thought of the interwoven heart at the center of the map. What if it's not weird? What if it's just different in a beautiful way? Sophia smiled, a genuine expression that transformed her face. "My grandmother says that dance is how our ancestors speak to us. Each movement tells a story. When I dance, I feel connected to everyone who came before me." "Could you show us?" Maya asked. "Just our group? We don't have to perform for the whole class if you don't want to." Sophia considered this, then nodded slowly. "I think I'd like that. My grandmother is coming next weekend. She could teach us a simple dance." As they ate, Maya felt the map growing warmer in her backpack, as if responding to the connection forming between them. She realized that the path on the map wasn't just for her to follow, it was a path that connected people, heart to heart. Chapter 7. The following weekend, Maya found herself standing in Sophia's backyard, where a small wooden platform had been set up under a canopy of trees. Sophia's grandmother, Mrs. Park, was a small woman with a presence that filled the space around her. Her eyes sparkled with warmth and wisdom, and her hands moved gracefully as she spoke. "Dance is not just movement, Mrs. Park explained, her voice carrying the melody of her homeland. It is storytelling with the body. Each gesture has meaning, passed down through generations like a precious gift." She showed them a simple traditional dance, her feet barely seeming to touch the ground as she moved. Then she taught them the basic steps, her patience infinite as they stumbled and laughed their way through the movements. Liam surprised everyone by picking up the steps quickly, his artist's eye helping him understand the flow and form. Riley, who had arrived with her arms crossed and a skeptical expression, gradually relaxed, her natural athleticism serving her well. "See, Mrs. Park said, watching them with approval. "When you dance together, you create something new that still honors what came before. This is how traditions stay alive, not by remaining exactly the same, but by growing and changing with each new person who adds their voice to the story." As the afternoon light filtered through the leaves, casting dancing shadows on the ground, Maya felt a sense of rightness settle over her. The map's path was becoming clearer, not as a route to follow, but as a way of being, connected to others, to the past, and to the stories that make us who we are. Chapter 8. On Monday morning, the group gathered in the library to plan their presentation. Riley arrived with a laptop and a newfound enthusiasm. "I was thinking," she said, opening the computer to reveal a beautifully designed slide presentation. "We could structure it like a journey. Start with each of our individual traditions, then show how they connect." Liam spread out his sketchbook, revealing detailed drawings of Mrs. Chen's artworks, each annotated with stories she had shared. "And I thought we could create a giant mural that combines elements from all our traditions." Sophia demonstrated the dance steps they had learned, her movements fluid and confident. "We could teach the class a simple version. Get everyone involved." Maya watched as her group members worked together, their initial hesitation replaced by collaboration and creativity. She pulled out the map and spread it on the table between them. "I found this a while ago," she explained. "I think it was meant to bring us together." The others gathered around, their fingers tracing the path and symbols. Riley pointed to the interwoven heart at the center. "This is us," she said softly. "All connected." Liam nodded. "And the bird with outstretched wings, that's like Mrs. Chen's wooden bird carrying traditions to new places." "And the tree with deep roots," Sophia added, "is like my grandmother's dance, connecting us to our ancestors." Maya smiled. "And the pool reflecting stars, that's how we see ourselves in each other." As they worked, the librarian, Mrs. Alvarez, paused beside their table. "This is quite a project you're working on," she said, her voice warm with approval. "You know, the library has a collection of cultural artifacts that might help with your research. Would you like to see them?" Chapter 9. Mrs. Alvarez led them to a special room in the back of the library, where shelves held treasures from around the world. There were woven textiles from Guatemala, clay pots from the Pueblo people, carved wooden animals from Kenya, and delicate paper lanterns from China. "Each of these items tells a story, Mrs. Alvarez explained, her fingers brushing reverently over a colorful textile. "They were donated by families in our community who wanted to share their heritage with others." Riley reached out tentatively to touch one of the Chinese lanterns. "My mom has these," she said quietly. "She puts them up for Chinese New Year, but I never really thought about what they mean." The lantern represents the return of light and the coming of spring, Mrs. Alvarez said. It's a symbol of hope and renewal. Maya noticed how Riley's expression softened, as if seeing the lantern with new eyes. Could we include some of these items in our presentation? Riley asked. The lanterns, I mean. And maybe we could make some as a class activity? Mrs. Alvarez beamed. What a wonderful idea. I have all the supplies you'll need. As they left the library, Maya felt the map in her backpack pulse with warmth. The path was becoming clearer now, not as a route to follow, but as a way of being, open to connection, willing to listen, ready to understand. Chapter 10. The day of the presentation arrived with a sky the color of a robin's egg. Maya woke early, her stomach fluttering with a mixture of nerves and excitement. She dressed carefully, choosing a blue shirt that matched her eyes, and ate a breakfast of toast and honey that tasted like comfort. At school, the group met in the auditorium to set up. Liam had created a stunning mural that combined elements from all their traditions: cherry blossoms from China, traditional Korean dance poses, abstract patterns inspired by Mrs. Chen's artworks, and at the center, interwoven hearts representing their connection. Sophia had brought traditional Korean music that filled the room with haunting melodies. Riley had set up a station for making paper lanterns, complete with colorful paper and delicate frames. And Maya had prepared a speech about how traditions connect us across time and distance. As students filed into the auditorium, Maya took a deep breath and touched the map in her pocket. It seemed to hum with energy, as if encouraging her. Mr. Harrison introduced their group, and Maya stepped up to the microphone. Our presentation is about how art and tradition connect us to our heritage and to each other, she began, her voice growing stronger with each word. We each explored something from our own background, and we discovered that while our traditions are different, they all tell the same human story, of connection, of memory, of love. Liam shared his artwork and the stories behind each piece. Sophia demonstrated the traditional dance, her movements graceful and meaningful. Riley explained the significance of the lanterns and led the class in making their own. And Maya tied it all together with the metaphor of the map, a journey that connects us all. When they finished, the auditorium was silent for a moment, then erupted in applause that felt like warm sunlight. Maya looked at her group members, Riley with tears in her eyes, Liam with a proud smile, Sophia standing tall and confident, and knew that something special had happened. Chapter 11. After school, the group gathered in the library to celebrate their success. Mrs. Alvarez had brought cookies and lemonade, and they sat around a table, reliving the presentation. That was amazing, Riley said, her usual confidence replaced by genuine warmth. I've never felt so proud of a school project before. Liam nodded. My grandma cried when I told her about it. She said she's never seen her art shared with so many people. And my grandmother wants to teach a dance workshop at the community center, Sophia added. She says if people are interested, she'd love to share more of our traditions. Maya smiled, feeling a sense of contentment settle over her. I think this is what the map was trying to show us, she said, pulling it out and spreading it on the table. That we're all connected, and that when we share our stories, we create something bigger than ourselves. Riley traced the path with her finger. You know, I talked to my parents last night. I told them about the project and about how much I enjoyed learning about the lanterns. My mom cried. She said she thought I didn't care about our heritage. I think we all have stories we don't share, Sophia said softly. Stories that feel too private or too different. But when we share them, we realize we're not so different after all. As they talked, Maya noticed something new on the map, tiny dots along the path that hadn't been there before, like stars coming out at night. When she pointed them out, Liam leaned closer. They look like little lights, he said. Like our stories are lighting up the path. Maya thought about how each person they had met, Mrs. Chen, Mrs. Park, Mrs. Alvarez, had shared a piece of their story, and how those stories had connected to form something beautiful. Chapter 12. That evening, Maya sat at her desk, writing in her journal about the experience of the past weeks. The map lay beside her, its path now illuminated by the tiny star-like dots that represented each story shared. She wrote about how moving to a new town had felt like being lost, and how the map had helped her find her way, not by showing her the right roads to take, but by teaching her to listen with her heart. She wrote about Riley's vulnerability beneath her confident exterior, about Liam's artistic soul, about Sophia's graceful strength. She wrote about Mrs. Chen's wisdom, Mrs. Park's patience, Mrs. Alvarez's kindness. As she wrote, the moon rose outside her window, casting a silver glow across the page. The map seemed to shimmer in the moonlight, and Maya noticed something new, a tiny symbol in the corner that hadn't been there before, a hand reaching out to another hand. She smiled, understanding the message. The map wasn't just about finding your own way, it was about reaching out to others and helping them find their way too. It was about connection, about community, about the invisible threads that tie us all together. When she finished writing, Maya carefully folded the map and placed it in an envelope. On the front, she wrote, "To whoever needs this next. The path that matters most can't be seen with eyes alone. Listen with your heart and the way will become clear." The next morning, she slipped the envelope into a random book in the school library, wondering who might find it next and what journey it might guide them on. Chapter 13. The weeks that followed brought changes both small and significant. Riley started a cultural heritage club at school, bringing together students interested in sharing and learning about different traditions. Liam's artwork was displayed in the school hallway, with stories from his grandmother accompanying each piece. Sophia taught a Korean dance workshop at the community center that was attended by people of all ages. Maya found herself no longer feeling like an outsider. She had friends now, real friends who knew her and liked her for who she was. She still carried the lessons of the map with her, listening with her heart, looking beneath the surface, reaching out to connect. One afternoon, as she was leaving school, she saw a new student standing by the lockers, looking lost and uncertain. The girl was turning a combination lock over and over in her hands, her expression growing more frustrated with each attempt. Need help? Maya asked, approaching gently. The girl looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. I can't get it open. This is my first day, and I already feel like everyone knows the secret except me. Maya smiled, remembering her own first days. It took me a week to get mine right. Here, let me show you. As she helped the girl with her locker, Maya noticed a book tucked under her arm, a copy of The Secret Garden, just like the one where she had found the map. I love that book, Maya said. It's about how gardens and people can grow and change in unexpected ways. The girl looked at the book, then back at Maya. Really? I just picked it up at the library this morning. Maya felt a warm glow spread through her, as if the map was still guiding her, even though it was no longer in her possession. Would you like to sit with me at lunch tomorrow? I could introduce you to some friends. The girl's face lit up. I'd like that very much. As they walked out of school together, Maya thought about the journey the map had set her on. Not a journey to a specific destination, but a journey of connection, of understanding, of heart. And she knew that the most important paths in life are the ones we walk together. Chapter 14. As the seasons changed and the school year progressed, Maya often thought about the map and the mysterious person who had left it for her. She wondered if they had known how much it would change her life, how it would help her find her place in a new town, how it would teach her the power of listening with her heart. Sometimes when she walked through the school hallways, she would see students she didn't know well and try to imagine their stories, their hopes, their fears, the traditions they carried with them. She would remember Riley's vulnerability, Liam's creativity, Sophia's grace, and she would understand that everyone has a map of their own, with paths that wind and intersect in unexpected ways. One spring afternoon, as the world outside was bursting with new life, Maya found herself in the school library, returning a book about traditional art forms from around the world. As she placed it on the return cart, she noticed something familiar. A copy of The Secret Garden with a slightly worn cover. Curious, she opened it, and there, tucked inside the first page, was a folded piece of paper. Her heart beat faster as she unfolded it, wondering if it could be. It wasn't the same map, but it was similar, a winding path through a forest with symbols dotted along the way. And beneath it, in the same elegant script, were the words, "The journey continues. Pass it on." Maya smiled, feeling a sense. Completion and continuation. She carefully refolded the map and slipped it into her pocket, knowing exactly who needed it next. The new girl she had helped at the lockers, who was still finding her way, still learning that the most important paths are discovered not with eyes alone, but with an open heart. Chapter 15. That evening, as the sun set in a blaze of orange and pink, Maya sat on her front porch, watching the world grow quiet. She thought about the map and the journey it had set her on, how it had taught her to look beneath the surface, to listen with her heart, to reach out and connect. She thought about how each person she had met had added something to her understanding of the world. Mrs. Chen with her wisdom about art and ancestry, Mrs. Park with her graceful dance, Mrs. Alvarez with her treasure trove of stories, Riley with her hidden vulnerability, Liam with his creative spirit, Sophia with her quiet strength. And she thought about the new girl at school, just beginning her own journey of discovery, and how the map would guide her too, helping her find her way not by showing her the right roads to take, but by teaching her to listen with her heart. As the first stars appeared in the darkening sky, Maya felt a sense of peace settle over her. The map had been a gift, not just to her but to everyone whose path she had crossed. And in passing it on, she was continuing that gift, creating a chain of connection that would stretch far into the future. The wind rustled the leaves in the trees, and Maya imagined it carrying stories from one person to another, connecting hearts across time and distance. She smiled, knowing that she was part of something bigger than herself, a community of listeners, of sharers, of heart-open travelers on the path that matters most. Inside, the house was quiet, the only sound the gentle ticking of the clock on the wall. Maya went to her room and opened her journal, writing one last entry about the map and the journey it had guided her on. The most important maps, she wrote, are not the ones that show us where to go, but the ones that help us see where we've been, who we've met, and how we've grown. The most important paths are not the ones we walk alone, but the ones we walk together, hand in hand, heart to heart, story by story. As she closed the journal, the moon rose outside her window, round and bright like a lantern lighting the way. And somewhere in the night, a new traveler was opening a map, beginning their own journey of discovery, guided by the wisdom of those who had come before, and ready to add their own story to the ever-unfolding path. Moral of the story: true connection comes from listening with your heart and looking beneath the surface to understand others' stories. When we share our heritage, traditions, and vulnerabilities, we discover that our differences make us stronger and our similarities bring us closer. The most meaningful journeys in life are not traveled alone but together, with open hearts and willing hands, creating a tapestry of connection that enriches everyone it touches. Everyone has a story worth hearing, and when we take the time to listen, we build bridges of understanding that can transform not just individual lives but entire communities.